Chapter 5 of Born to Good Luck by a Self-Made Man. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 5, in which Silas Maslin fails to recover his runaway. In the morning the boat was hauled across to the other side of the canal, the side on which the towpath ran. A tandem mule team in charge of a boy who sported the biggest and most disreputable straw hat Dick ever had seen was hitched on, and the boat began to move slowly down the canal. As they approached the bridge at Cobham's Corner, Dick got out of sight of the shore. He knew there would be trouble if any member of the Maslin family caught a glimpse of him on board the Minnehaha. So he squatted down inside the limited bit of hold in the eyes of the canal boat, which he and Joe had used for sleeping quarters, while his chum sat on the coamings of the hatch with his legs swinging down and his gaze fixed on Cobham's Corner. "I don't see anybody about," reported Joe as the boat drew near the bridge which crossed the canal at this point and connected the two sections of the country road. Captain Beasley came forward and called on Fletcher to help detach the tow line so that the boat could pass under the bridge. While they were doing this, Luke Maslin appeared at the door of the store. His eyes roamed over the canal boat from stem to stern and finally fixed themselves on Fletcher, whom he recognized, having seen and spoken to him many times when Joe called at the store to get supplies for Nathan Boggs or to see Dick. Suddenly he ran out on the bridge and took his position just above where the boat had to pass under. "Hello, Fletcher," he shouted. "Hello yourself," growled Joe, casting a side glance at him. "What are you doing aboard that boat?" "Taking a sail." "What for?" "For my health," snorted Joe as he pitched the end of the tow line ashore. "Have you left Nathan Boggs?" continued Luke with a grin. "Better ask him when you see him," answered the boy, squatting down with his back to the young Maslin, a pretty good sign that he wanted no further communication with his questioner. But Luke wouldn't take the hint. "Seen anything of Dick Armstrong?" he persisted. "He's run away from here, and with some of my father's money. Constable Smock is hunting for him. Father is going to have him put in the village lockup." Joe didn't answer him. "Maybe you've got him hid away aboard the boat," added Luke suspiciously. "If you have, you'd better give him up, or it will be the worse for you." As those words passed his lips, the forward end of the canal boat passed under the bridge, and Luke ran over to the other side of the structure to meet it as it floated clear. Dick easily overheard his young enemy's remarks from the spot where he was screened from Luke's line of observation. He forgot, however, to change his position below as the boat passed under the bridge, not thinking that Luke, by crossing the planks to the opposite rail, would be able to obtain a different focus down into his hiding place if he was wide awake enough to keep his eyes well employed. As this is exactly what Master Maslin did do, the result was he discovered Dick's crouching figure in the narrow hold as soon as the head of the canal boat shot out into sight again. "I see you down there, Dick Armstrong," he cried of a sudden, triumphantly. Then he rushed off to the store to tell his father. "I'm afraid it's all up with me," said Dick as he scrambled out of his hiding place. "Well, I'd like to see them try to take you off this boat if you don't want to go," said Joe, rolling up his sleeves, while the look of determination came over his freckled features. "It won't do to resist a constable," warned Dick. "I won't have you get into trouble over me." "But the constable isn't around here now," put in Joe. "They'll send him word as to my whereabouts, and he'll get a rig and cut me off further down along the canal, don't you see? The only thing for me to do now is to leave the boat before I'm overhauled," Dick continued. "For if I wait until Constable Smock comes along and invites me to go ashore, I'll be deprived of my savings by Mr. Maslin, even if he doesn't follow up his threat to put me in jail." "I dare say you're right, Dick, but you can't skip yet a while, for here comes the old man and Luke across the bridge. They'll be down on us in a couple of minutes. You needn't be afraid that Captain Beasley'll make you go ashore to oblige that old rhinoceros. And if he attempts to board us, he'll be trespassing, and a douse in the canal would be the proper thing to cool him off." Captain Beasley was leaning negligently against the forward end of his cabin, smoking his favorite briar pipe in the autumn sunshine, when Mr. Maslin came running down the towpath and hailed him, his son following along behind. "You've got a boy on board your boat I want. He's running away from my place yonder after stealing a $5 bill. I want you to put him on shore," demanded Silas Maslin, keeping pace with the canal boat. "I've got 2 boys aboard," said the captain in an indifferent tone. "Which one do you refer to?" "The one with the new suit of clothes on," replied the storekeeper, pointing to Dick. "His name is Armstrong." "All right," agreed Captain Beasley. "He came on aboard of his own accord, and if he's willing to go ashore, he can go now." "I want you to make him come ashore whether he's willing or not," said Silas Maslin energetically. "I'm afraid I can't do that," said the skipper, shaking his head. "Why can't you? You're captain of the boat, and I reckon you can do about as you please on board of her. If he doesn't come back with me and hand over the money he took from me, I'm going to have him arrested and put in the lockup." Captain Beasley walked forward to where the two boys were standing, Mr. Maslin hastening his steps to keep abreast of him. "That's the man you've been living with, ain't it, Armstrong?" asked Captain Beasley. "Yes, sir," admitted Dick respectfully. "You've heard the charge he made against you and his demand that you leave this boat and go back with him." "Yes, sir," replied the boy, beginning to fear that he was to be given up. "Have you any of his money about you?" "No, sir. I never took 1 cent of his money from the store," replied the lad stoutly. "Are you willing to go ashore as he wants you to do?" "No, sir. I'd rather you'd throw me overboard," said Dick with flashing eyes. "You hear what he says," said the skipper, turning to the storekeeper. "I reckon I ain't deaf," replied Mr. Maslin in a surly tone. "I'm afraid I can't do anything for you," said Captain Beasley, turning on his heel and walking away. "Ain't you going to make him come on shore?" demanded the storekeeper angrily. "No, sir. I've nothing whatever to do with your quarrel with the boy." "The boy is a thief, and you're helping him get away," cried Mr. Maslin. "Don't you know that's agin the law, and I can make you sweat for it?" "He has denied the charge, and as there is no proof against him, his word is as good as yours," replied the skipper, resuming his former station against the cabin wall. "I'll have you up before the justice for this," shouted Mr. Maslin, coming to a stop and shaking his fist at the captain of the Minnehaha. "And what's more, I'll have that boy took up by the constable afore you get many miles further down the canal." After hurling his threats after the receding boat, he and Luke turned about and hurried back the way they came. "I guess the storekeeper means to send the constable after you with a warrant for your arrest, Armstrong," said the captain when the two boys ranged up alongside him after Mr. Maslin took his departure, "in which case you'll have to go along with the officer. Now, if you will take my advice, young man, you'll get ashore at Casper's, a mile below here, and make your way by land to Albany, where we'll lay up a week or so, as I've got to load up there for New York after discharging what I've brought on from Buffalo and Syracuse. You can leave your bundle aboard. Your friend will look out for it." As the captain's advice was good, Dick determined to act on it. After receiving explicit directions where to rejoin the boat at Albany, Dick bade all hands good-bye for the time being and left the boat at Casper's. End of Chapter 5.